everyone, and welcome to the December Q&A. We announced this last month, but it's the college Q&A with Mr. Dan.
Couldn't remember my name.
Sorry, on the screen everything's backwards, so I didn't know who I was about to point to. I was like, Dan. Okay, so Dan and Alex, and we're missing Taylor, but Taylor lives very far away, so he won't be joining us. Let's jump into the questions. The first question is from Ryan Burrs. I guess that's what that says. What were your first thoughts when meeting each other, and did you like each other at first?
Nope. Just kidding.
Well, we met. We should probably tell a little bit of the story because Alex and I met.
We met on eHarmony.
We met on Starman.net.
Yeah, and then we were going to the same college. We decided to be roommates. We met each other when we were moving in.
Yep.
We were both awkward, skinny white guys. Well, awkward white guys.
Okay.
And we met at college. We were moving our stuff in. I think your parents were there, so I met you and your parents more or less at the same time. And your parents were very nice people. Yep. And we got in the van and went to Walmart.
Yeah, and bought cereal.
And bought a bunch of stuff. And you told me about. I remember the day I met you. You told me that you bought Adobe Creative Suite for $500.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, well, I thought you were stupid, but I didn't want to say anything.
You wanted to be like, why didn't you just get my copy? Yeah.
But,
okay.
No, it was a generally positive first impression. And then I proceeded, and then after an hour of that, I was like, oh, we're good best friends now, so I can be a dick.
Yeah, that was.
I was like, you asshole.
Yeah, that actually hurt. That legitimately.
How you doing,
okay,
Steven?
all right, let's move to Dan.
You die.
Yeah, well, we kind of had our first class together. It was 2D, right?
2D design.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think I basically would just come over and be like, hey, how's your project going, or whatever.
We didn't know that you lived 2 doors down at the time.
Oh, okay.
I don't know when we figured that out, but something. Maybe we saw you walking around. Actually, I think we first really got to know you whenever you stopped by. I think you figured out where we lived and then came over and was like, hey, can you look at my project and tell me what you think, or something like that. And we were kind of looking at each other's projects. Yeah. And then you started to come over more often, and then it was like, we have video games we should play. Yeah. And then that's what happened, I think. Mm-hmm. But we first met Dan at class. Yeah. Basically.
And the first impressions with Alex, I thought Alex hated me because, because it was at the point where we started to become friends. Well, and I was being friendly towards Alex, but whenever I would come over and be like, hey, how's it going, or whatever, whenever Alex would answer the door, there would be times where you weren't there, and then Alex would be like, oh, Steven isn't here. And I'm like, okay. And so
I just had crushingly low self-esteem at that point in my life and didn't think that Dan was there to see me. I thought he was hanging out with cool people.
And at the same time, Dan was trying to reach his friendship branch to you, and you were like...
Most people assume that I hate them when they first meet.
Well, actually...
I really don't hate anyone.
I got to know Dan pretty quickly. You were coming over... Probably by the second week, you were coming over pretty regularly and stuff. Yeah, and then once I found out that you were here there for film, we kind of we kind of connected a bit. Video. And when I first met Alex, we were pretty buddy, and then he instantly became, like you said, he thought we were best friends, and he could treat me like crap, treat me like he treated his brother.
You and I grew up with very different relationship dynamics.
Basically that, because I never had that, and he had a brother, so I think we butted heads a lot at the beginning. But then it turned out okay. It was a long answer. Anyway, next question is from Black Fox 51. Dan, what are your future plans for your DanPlays series?
I don't know. It seems like every time
continue it?
I guess. I don't know.
You know what I just went back and watched the other day? Oh, the very last episode of Minecraft you ever did. It was episode 7.
Oh, where I died in the first 30 seconds? Yeah.
The first 2 minutes of that video are the best 2 minutes of any video on YouTube. I swear to God. Like it's. I'll briefly explain, and you guys can go look it up on Daily Dan Vlog.
So,
Dan is playing.
I'm so bad at Minecraft.
Dan's playing Minecraft. He made a new house at the top of this hill.
For some reason. For no reason.
And he spends the first minute talking about the stuff he has in his chest. And he leaves his place. What? He's on top of a mountain, by the way. A creeper starts coming at him. He's like, oh God. So he runs backwards and falls off of the mountain and dies immediately. When he respawns in his house, the way he had developed his house was big enough for the creeper to fall into. So the creeper was chilling there, and he was like, no, no, no.
And I really had no room to move or get out of the way.
The creeper explodes and destroys his chest. It also destroys his bed, so he can't respawn to his bed. He starts in the middle of nowhere and has lost everything.
Yeah. It's really good.
It was great. Anyway, for both Dan and Alex, what are your favorite movies and TV shows at the moment?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
It's kind of a given. What
TV shows do you watch, if any?
I don't know. As far as movies, my favorite movie of all time is probably 1984. The one that came out in 1984. That was a good one. Right now, the only thing I watch on TV is QI, which is a British panel show that's hosted by Stephen Fry, and it's just comedians.
Oh.
It's like a quiz show, but the format is the questions are so obscure and ridiculous that you're not supposed to know the answers, so they just shoot the shit, and it's really funny.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good. And you liked Gravity. You went and saw Gravity.
Yeah. Really
Gravity was good.
Gravity was really good. I was moved.
And Children of Men, same director, is also really good. It's got some really good.
You recently sent us.
Yeah. Really good cinematic.
Is that the one that Bonnie Million was talking about all the time?
Maybe.
I don't know. Possibly.
Because it's the same type of thing where a lot of shots are like minutes long and it's like really elaborate and it's really cool.
Next question is from EsseGooner. EsseGooner. Do you guys ever get nostalgic about your dorm life? And if so, what do you guys miss doing the most when you guys were all together? You ever feel nostalgic?
Yeah, I guess. I think some of my favorite times was in that like common room area, and we were just like weekend or whatever.
Well, we spent a lot of time in there. I mean, we did things together every single night. We were actually talking about this at lunch or something or earlier today, where we didn't have a very conventional college experience because we did everything together. And that's not really typically how it works.
We also didn't do college stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't go anywhere or do anything. We just went to Walmart.
But it was.
I was telling Steven, when people come to Savannah, I don't know like where to tell them to go. Like I can't tell them a bar to go to because we never went to bars.
But you don't regret anything. You had fun.
It was fun. It was just different. I worked a lot in college, but my fondest memories are probably just hanging out like at 3 in the morning in the dorm. Like talking about bro stuff, you know.
Bro stuff is the fondest of memories. Noah Balboa 125 says, what are your favorite college memories? Alex, what's your absolute favorite college memory if you have one?
Didn't we just answer that?
Well, we were just talking about some of the nostalgic stuff. Is there one thing that happened that like above everything else you're like, man, I'm glad that we did that? Any regrets?
Does it have to be during college? Well, no, I meant like.
You mean you're just between us and not related to college?
Yeah, I mean,
sure. I mean, whatever.
I think one of them was just spring break. Was it spring break we were here?
Oh yeah, when everyone came here.
Yeah, that was
fun. And I mean, that kind of goes along with what we answered last question, where, you know, we did everything together and hung out. And I feel like if Ian would have been closer, he probably would have continued to be in our group too. Do you think that? I think so. Because whenever we got to sophomore year, because Ian was our roommate in freshman year, whenever we went to sophomore year, we changed dorms, and Ian was trying to get into that dorm, and then he ended up getting...
he was supposed to be my roommate.
Yeah, and then things got messed up, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, and then...
Now he's a daddy.
Now he's
Of
a father.
3, actually.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, we saw
Jacob.
Jacob being
remember?
born.
But since then, he's actually had 2 twin girls, which is really cool. And I don't. Do they live in Wyoming or Idaho? I think.
Nevada.
Just keep naming states. I'm sure it'll come
Hong
to
Kong? That's a state, right?
I think it's in Nevada.
Adam W asks, "What are your favorite pizza toppings?" Dan does pepperoni.
No, I think meat lovers is one of my. Well, that's not a topping. That's more like 7 toppings. But
Mine was a joke. You're supposed to laugh. I said Dan's was pepperoni. Do you remember what happened? No!
I remember that,
I
but
want
I didn't find
pepperoni.
it funny.
oh,
Well, you know what? You're not invited over
I
anymore.
want pepperoni pizza.
Olives? Black olives?
Olives.
Black olives.
Olives.
Just any olives.
Olives. Kalamata olives.
You know, I like olives on pizza, but I can't eat just plain olives. I want olives
Oh,
with
right,
stuff.
yeah,
Like,
you put
Olives.
more
well, yeah, I know. What'd you say?
I'm
onions,
just kidding.
No, what did you say your favorite topping was?
Oh, meat lovers.
mushrooms,
Oh, so all the meats.
All the meats.
ham, Canadian ham,
Clean all the things.
Mexican ham.
I like mushrooms.
Mexican hams?
Femtondeseptember says, back in the day, you guys used to mention all these stories during college that you never told. Can you tell one funny/strange story of something that happened during your college years together? Some cool story. Dan, you have one. You said you had one.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
We were all there. At some point during freshman year, Ian was friendly with everyone, even people that weren't very likable. And I'm sorry. Well, there was one time where I think Alex or Taylor and I were playing video games or something, hanging out in their room, and Steven was on the computer. I think he was like talking with Mal or
Probably, yeah,
Yeah.
at that point.
and he and so Ian comes in with this new friend of his, and I don't remember what exactly he said. Like, he said something instantly that made us all hate him.
I think you're remembering it a little differently than what I remembered.
Really? What do you remember?
Okay.
Well, that was a setup. But then one day Dan was sitting in front of the TV in our room playing video games. And
Yeah.
you said something about
Oh, no. Dan was getting on the subject of talking bad about this guy because I mean he was a jerk. He was a big douchebag guy. And Dan, it's funny because this actually goes into the whole Dan sitting on a stool this close to the TV. But Dan was sitting there playing video games, and he started talking about this guy, and he did not know, because he was paying attention to the games, that guy had walked in.
I've not since talked bad about anybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was one of those things that Ian was continually bringing this guy over, and the guy was a huge jerk to all of us.
Yeah.
And like we couldn't figure out why Ian kept bringing him around. And Dan was trying to tell Ian more or less like,
hey, we don't let that
to stop
or something like that.
Yeah, and Dan didn't know that he was sitting behind him. And like he starts talking
because I was playing. I think I was just so into the video game.
But he couldn't remember.
I didn't see him come in.
Dan couldn't remember his name. So Dan's playing and he's like, Ian, we really don't like that new friend of yours. And I'm sitting there and I just get like this cold sweat because I know that he's talking about his friend or whatever, and he's behind him. And like, in an effort to stop it, I probably said the worst thing that I could say, and I said, Dan, he's sitting right behind you.
Yeah.
That was the worst. I know, but I didn't. Possible. I guess in a way I wanted to like.
You didn't care because that guy was a dick.
Well, yeah, but also I wanted to like stop the situation, and in the way I kind of made it worse because at least I could have changed the subject or anything, but it was like a heat of the moment thing where I was like, Danny's behind you. But how do you remember how we met that guy? Do you remember?
No, because my aunt died and I came back in town and was really tired from driving back home from a funeral and like got in my bed.
That's how we met him.
He came in the room and was like, you guys are assholes. What the fuck are you doing?
Yes.
Final Fantasy. Who plays that?
Yes.
You guys are stupid. Can I borrow that?
That is our first. That's how we first met that guy. Ian brought him over. Alex was in bed. I think I was in bed. I might have been sitting up on the laptop or something. But the guy comes in, And Ian is like, we're gonna play games or whatever. And the guy talks to us like we're idiots. He treats us terribly. And he's meeting us for the first time. He's like, so what games you like? And we say, and he's like, oh, those are stupid and you're dumb. Oh my God. So that's how we met that guy.
Well,
and
that's a good story.
That was actually, it was really good. Good job, Dan. I'm glad that
I don't have stories.
You don't have any stories?
Not that aren't. My only stories are very compromising.
Oh.
To you, so you should not.
Oh. Yeah, my
vlog material.
Yeah, we'll keep that. We'll keep that for something else. Alec Saucedo says, was Stephen's cooking good?
Stephen didn't cook. Stephen took things out of a can and put them in the stove or in the oven, like the rest of us did. None of us cooked.
Hey, he made chicken rice pea.
But we all prepared food and it was all edible.
There was one time.
I don't know if you cook. Do you cook now?
I do cook occasionally.
Does he cook?
Just to let you know.
No, you don't cook.
I do cook.
You don't cook.
What are you talking? I do cook. Doggone it. I do cook. Mal does a majority of the cooking, but occasionally I cook.
Sometimes you cook. In college you didn't cook, so I can't really comment on your cooking.
Well, if I did, I'm the one that prepared
that one time
food.
We made barbecue chicken pizza. When we put a bottle of barbecue sauce on a store-bought pizza crust. Covered it in a bag of cheese.
I prepared the food. For those who aren't aware, we ate dinner together every night. We went shopping on the weekends, and we, put our money together so everyone paid an even amount, and we made dinner every single night. 80% of the time, I was the one that prepared dinner. Yes.
Okay, before...
You know that's right. Don't you dare say anything up, because that's
like
correct.
75. And the rest was me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Dan, no offense.
Dan and Taylor put stuff in the oven sometimes.
I could put box meals in the oven though.
That's all we did though. That's all cooking was putting a box meal in the oven.
I first off want to say, Stephen, I appreciate you for
making sure no one starved to death in college. You're all welcome.
Yes.
Even if it was chicken rice pea.
There was nothing culinary about it, so there's really
but we ate.
Nothing to comment on.
We ate.
I know. The only thing that I have to say though,
we did not own spices.
The one time that you made chicken rice pea and you put root beer in the chicken.
That was good, right?
One time I bought a bag of flour and you were like, what is that? You made fun of me for buying flour. And I cooked one time. I cooked that thing with the flour.
I cooked the flour. I put the flour in the oven. Remember when we had flour for dinner? That was a good meal. Don't you forget it.
We're better people now.
Barely. A question from Mal. This is a question from Mal. She wants to know, Alex, where did you get the baby doll? There's a vlog where you are seen stabbing a baby doll in our sink before throwing it down the hallway and leaving it to die.
I don't know that I got it. You
did.
It was in your bed.
No.
Dan put it in your bed.
This is what I recall.
Did you find it?
What? No. This is what I recall. I recall Alex saw it like lying on top of one of the trash cans in the hallway, and he was like, "Oh, that's weird." And so
that's an Alex line. That's weird.
Oh, that's weird. And so for some reason, I think he brought it in to the dorm and just like set it on the table or whatever. Yeah. And so I was like, where did you find this? And you're like, oh, the trash. And so
was the stabbing before or after it was in your bed?
No, it was after it was in the bed. And then I had the great idea of like, hey, let's put this dirty baby doll in Stephen's bed.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever shown. It was just the stabbing.
And it was funny just because like your bed was all made and whatever, and so
I appreciate it.
I set it so it was like under the covers with its like arms on top of it.
Yeah, I remember that part. It was frightening. It was a scary thing. Anyway, Dyson P says, Alex and Dan, what are your favorite video games?
You want me to rattle them off?
What do you have a favorite game of all time?
I have a list.
You don't have
let me just say a list. Super Metroid, Final Fantasy Tactics, Daggerfall, River Raid. Some of the best games ever made, bro. My favorite's probably, I would say Deus Ex. Deus Ex is one of the best games ever made.
The first one?
Nobody's played, none of your viewers have played it.
Some of them have.
They're too young.
No, they're not young enough for Steam, and
also,
the sucker's on Steam sales all the time.
System Shock 2 more recently has like dethroned Deus Ex. They're both like old late 90s FPSs with RPG elements that are really hard to get into.
You replayed Deus Ex in college, and I watched you play a lot of it, and it's really good.
It's really good.
I haven't played it personally.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
You just got to give it a chance. You got to play like an hour or two before you get it.
Dan, how about you?
I really like Last of Us. Was really good.
It is good.
Because it's, cinematic and it flows well, and it's not like loading. All right, this is the place where you play now.
Dan likes it because there's no loading.
Well, no, because I feel like a lot of games with cutscenes.
It does ruin it a little bit.
Yeah, and you're like, okay.
Have you ever seen Sonic 2006?
No.
Sonic 2006 will load a cutscene, stop, and then load a cutscene that takes place in the same place. It's awful.
That's stupid.
What's you said recently was Last of Us. Do you have like a game like of all time?
The game of my childhood was
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean that's like the stereotypical answer. But I really enjoy games recently like New Vegas or that have RPG elements. I don't like straight up RPGs. I played Sticker Star, Mario Sticker Star.
Yeah.
It was okay.
I heard Sticker Star was awful, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was just.
I heard that it was weird and not good and nothing like the old Paper Mario games, actually.
Well, because I never played any Paper.
The old Paper Mario games are fun.
Okay.
You should play through them.
Daggerfall, also, that's a really good one.
You actually listed that.
Did I?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like the third thing you listed.
Your viewers haven't played it either. It's Elder Scrolls 2. It's really
the biggest video game ever made.
So good.
Okay.
The biggest game world.
Huge and buggy and terrible, but it's great.
It's beautiful. Isn't it the biggest game world ever made?
I mean, it's twice as large as Great Britain.
Yeah.
It's big.
It's too big. Anyway, Arturia Dakir says, did Alex and Dan have any childhood pets? Do they have pets now, or are they planning on getting any? So, what's your pet history?
Lord.
The Lord?
My parents have dogs. My stepsisters used to have cats, so there were cats in the house that I pet. Okay, so don't give me shit about the cats.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, I had hamsters when I was a little kid, and then I had a bird.
I'm sorry. I don't like birds.
It could fly. That was a plus.
The hamsters can. They need a little help. But Dan, what about you? What did you?
Yeah. Well, we had.
You had a small dog. Did you always have small dogs?
Yeah. I mean, we mainly had Yorkies. There was one Yorkie when I was a kid, and then sadly, like in grade school, it died while I was at school, which was really sad.
Like unexpectedly?
Yeah, like had a stroke.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
it was sad. But and then we've had other animals since then. Like we've had hamsters. We even had a duck at one point, which was weird.
What?
Yeah.
Like you found a duck and you kept it for a week, or like you legitimately had a duck?
Like that movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Or was that Vin Diesel?
With the woman and the...
Was it Vin Diesel or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Help me out.
You asking the viewer?
Yeah.
Leave a comment and I'll see it in a month.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, we had it for like a couple months, but then it started getting big and started attacking us. So
then we realized it was a duck.
Yeah, and then my parents now have Buster, who's also a Yorkie.
That dog is tiny. I don't know if we ever showed it on the vlog. We might have. You have on yours.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about getting maybe a Westie.
And a cat.
Maybe. I don't know.
You get one of each when they're young and they grow up and they love each other and the cat rides on the dog and the dog rides on the cat or something.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Never mind. The next question is from PokeKroma. What was your first opinion
Is that like Coca-Cola and Pokemon?
No, it's what's the
Coca-Cola?
What's the Simon song? PokeKroma,
give us a nice bright colors, give us a green, the summer's copyrighted music. All right, okay. All right, if you sing too perfectly, it'll flag. My little town.
PokeKroma asks, what was your first opinion of Stephen doing the vlog, and what is your opinion of him doing it now? So what did you first think? almost 4 years ago this month when I started it and was like, guys, I'm gonna do this. I know that your opinion was probably very not positive.
What? No, I thought it was cute. I didn't think you would keep doing it the way you did.
Cute.
I didn't think.
And now I'm very disappointed in you.
It was weird when you started pointing a camera in all of our faces and being like,
You know, it used to not
Your
be
life
about
is
food.
now the subject.
It wasn't until I think
Well, it was about
Columbia-
you guys because it was.
Yeah.
I
it
mean-
used to be just us. It used to be a lot more shooting the shit and sitting around listening to copyrighted music. And now it's different.
Pointing the camera at Dragon Ball Z and be like, look at what Goku can do now! Yeah.
He's evolving.
Yeah, it's
Now you've changed. Now you've sold out to the man.
I think it's just because at the time of my life when we started the vlog, that's what my life was. You guys and Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Don't read too much into it. But now my life is eating food and petting the cats. So the vlog hasn't changed. It's my life has changed, I think. Well, what do you think about it now?
Good for you. I find it occasionally annoying because I'm sure you're all lovely people, but people think they're my friends because I'm on your vlog sometimes. And I'm sure you're lovely people, but we're not, we don't know each other. We don't need to know each other.
It is a one-way street.
And it's a slight nuisance to me, but it's your thing that you do, and more power to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever straight up told you guys, but I really appreciate how supportive you were and have continued to be, and
I remember being very vocal about. I remember very vocally saying don't do this,
and then I would do it anyway.
Get the camera. I don't want to be filmed.
But I thank you for not pressing charges over the years.
We have very different notions of privacy.
Yeah, and shame.
We can't get normal jobs anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, Dan, we were gonna hire you, but
we looked you up and
all we have to do is Google your name.
Yeah, I have gotten rid of your last names on every tag. I think mostly, so you shouldn't come up in case of a job interview. It should be good.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I think so. Next question's from number 1. Wow. Why did you choose your respective major in the school you attended? And being asked this now, do you wish you had made a different decision on either regard? So,
Alex?
For those who don't know your majors, let them know the major that you studied.
I majored in interactive design and game development.
Game! Video game!
At the Savannah College of Art and Design.
Okay, they know we all went to SCAD. And you, that's why we're doing this.
I was broadcast design and motion graphics.
But people know what video games are, but they have no idea what that is. So what's that? What is that in layman's terms?
It's the reason why I got into it was because I was actually either deciding between graphic design or film.
And it's kind of a combination.
Yeah, it's like a mixture of both.
Motion graphic design.
It's basically Photoshop with motion, basically, if you think about it.
Yeah.
That way.
But how did you chose it because you were interested in film and graphic design and
yeah, and then I was talking to a professor person. I think it might have been like a whatever they're called, academic advisor.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, this is kind of like both. Why don't you take a class or two? And so, yep.
How did you get into game design?
I didn't go to SCAD thinking I would major in video games because
really?
That's not a real thing.
What did you go to SCAD for?
At first animation. No, at first graphic design, then animation.
Wow. When did
Then I briefly considered VFX, and then I finally just went to game design. Because I realized that I was at trade school, because that's what SCAD is. It's trade school. Mm-hmm. And it's very expensive trade school.
Yeah.
It's trade school, and I figured I should just, even though it's not a real thing, I was bad at drawing, and I should just do what I think I'll be most into and be able to get a job doing. Not that you can get a job with a video game degree. Don't do it. Like, I caution people.
Because I feel like a large quantity of people are just like, I want to make video games, but they have no idea.
I enjoyed SCAD, and whether I regret it, jury's out. I mean, I think I turned out all right. But I wouldn't recommend doing what I did. Like, just go to college and get a degree in f***ing accounting. Then you'll get a job and you can eat and you'll
I mean,
have a good time.
I would kind of get a job in what you enjoy doing. Don't.
So you guys are on other.
But the point is get a job. You can't just do what you enjoy doing and pay for the degree and expect to get a job. That's the tough part.
I mean, it's hard, and people ask me all the time about SCAD and what is SCAD a good school, etc. And I'm like, yeah, it's a great school.
Don't go into debt.
It's a great school. It has wonderful professors who have industry experience, no matter what field you're doing. But it is terribly expensive. It is one of the most expensive schools in the U.S. And it was voted worst return on your investment this year. Was it this year or last year or both? I don't know. So it's one of those things that it's already hard enough to get a degree or to get a job in an art field.
Consider your local state university and the plethora of majors they offer.
It's hard.
Like typewriting and bookkeeping or whatever. I don't know majors.
You're reciting that commercial from the 90s.
Yeah.
VCR repair.
TV VCR repair. Yeah.
But looking back on it, you had said that jury's out on if you regret it or not.
I mean, I generally speaking don't regret my life.
That's good. That's good.
I sometimes wonder what it would be like if I had majored in film. Like if we ended up being in class together or working on different things, or I don't know.
I think that would have been cool, but also I think that from a job point of view, you're more likely to get a job with motion graphics, broadcast design than film.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who go to school for film and don't do anything with it. Sort of like me, but not really. I'm happy with what I do, so I'm...
Well, I mean, you edit all the time and work...
Yeah.
And you love editing. That's your thing, right?
I do.
You love to edit.
I do.
It's editing.
Yes.
Good job. You did it.
Edit all the things.
I'm going to the next question. arsniczombie. What was Stephen like in the dorm before the vlog? A lot of people want to know if I was any different before the vlog. Like if I...
You did heroin a lot, and...
He was the same. You were the same. I think you probably...
I think
you've developed more of like a TV personality.
Yeah, I think that. Because I don't know, I get used to...
But that was a gradual thing.
Yeah, and I also got used to being in front of a camera, and you automatically sort of become more... You push yourself to be more entertaining, and when you vlog and you do it every day, it follows you into real life.
But you were the same.
Yeah, I think so.
You were a nerdy college guy, and you played Xbox and sat in front of Skype and hung out and went to Walmart.
Yeah, blood pressure. That was
blood pressure.
That was the highlight of college.
My blood pressure was good the other day when I went to the...
I'm surprised. In college, it was awful. Remember, you would check it and you'd be like, well, I might die today.
We all ate like pizza all the time.
Yeah.
We really didn't eat healthy.
Slightly better than it was in college.
Good. The last question from Amaan Jamil. Alex, how much do you hate Stephen?
I don't hate Stephen. Stephen is a good friend. Stephen's letting me stay in his apartment for a week. And Mallory.
They're only letting
that
me
girl
stay for a couple days.
Aw. Yeah, Dan has to go back. Well, by the time this is coming out at the very end of November, so this is all past. But thank you guys for doing this, and I'm sure everyone is gonna, thank you as well. And
Thank you for sending questions.
Leave your questions for next time when we won't be here.
Good job. You didn't say anything stupid or sarcastic or, like you normally try to do? Where you're like, jump on the bandwagon in your sidebar links, duh. You remember you said that all the time?
It's a little tired, don't you think?
Or was that Dan's shtick?
Links
like
under
7 years.
lame under the bar thing. Was that what it was?
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Mal and I will be back next month, so watch or leave comments and questions for Mal and I. And
Mal and me. Just saying.
This has been Stephen Things.
Alright, that was good. Good job. And that's that.